The purpose of this video is to demonstrate the safe handling of the weapons used in skill at arms, namely the sword, lance and revolver, starting with the sword. This is another rank's army service or cavalry thrusting sword. This is the sword the army produced at the turn of the century and was supposed to be one of the best swords the army ever produced. This is the sword used in skill at arms and tent pegging. The hilt, this is the pommel, this is the pistol grip, the thumb grip, the resistance piece and the rubber insert, which compensates for the buff insert that would have covered the whole of the inside of the hilt, being held on by the sword knot, which would have been affixed here. This part of the resistance piece is lower than that side of the resistance piece, and that is the side that the sword revolves round the knuckle when coming from the slope to the engaged position. And that's the position the hand should be in after the sword is rotated. This is the position of the sword at the slope. The arm and the forearm makes a right angle at the elbow, with the sword making the hypotenuse of the triangle. You get from this position to the engage, pull the sword down, the hilt down with the middle two fingers, letting it rotate round the knuckle of the index finger, falling into the hand, with the thumb going into the thumb grip, making a firm grip on the pistol grip. At the slope, the sword is gripped by the thumb and index finger in a crab-like grip, claw grip, with the little finger running down the outside of the hilt to steady it. So, the hilt sits on the top of the thumb and index finger, with the little finger running down to steady it on your shoulder. This is how the hand sits on the pistol grip when the sword is at the slope. To get from the slope to the engage, the sword is pulled down by the middle two fingers, is allowed to rotate around the knuckle of the index finger. It's turned 90 degrees, falling into the hand. The wrist is slightly concave so that the arm from the elbow to the sword point is in one straight line. The engaged position, the elbows cleared the body so that the hand can be bent laterally but not flexed. And there the thrust is made by pushing the right hand forward, straightening the right arm and turning the wrist over so that the hilt is uppermost as you go into the sword dummy. When one becomes proficient, one can move the sword down quickly. Until that time, practice slowly till the position is right. The weight has been taken off the seat, it's being put onto the knees and stirrup irons, looking down the sword blade towards the adversary. All the weapons drill for skill at arms and tent pegging can be learnt on the ground. With the sword, to bring it from the slope to the engage, one has to move the body to the right to clear the horse as one brings the sword down from the shoulder to the engaged position. When one becomes proficient, it speeds up as they get more proficient. It should be like this. Now the adversary can be either mounted or dismounted. And it can be either left or right. If it's on the left, the hand has to go over the bridle hand, and The sword has to be alongside the horse's neck with the blade pointing towards the adversary. The body should move to the left, and the hand, arm and blade should be in a straight line. The hilt is rotated around the knuckle of the index finger, the thumb has gone into the thumb grip, and there's a firm grip on the handle of the sword. The sword drill is being perfected on the ground. Transfer it to horseback, again starting slowly until one becomes more proficient. As the sword comes forward, the body comes forward, out to the side, the weight's transferred from the seat to the knees and stirrup irons. Head looking down towards the adversary, horse going straight. Dummy right. Same as on the floor, dummy left. Onto the knees, stirrup irons. Arm and sword blade in a straight line. From the engage, the sword in line. Dummy left is the sword being left in the left hand dummy. And now the revolver. The revolver is gripped like the sword in the holster with the thumb and index finger and drawn until it clears the holster when the whole hand is used. The revolver from the holster, put the thumb between the revolver and the rear of the holster, nip it in a similar action to the sword, draw it out, and as you draw it out, leave the index finger along the trigger guard and grasp the butt as it clears the holster, taking the gun up to the position where the barrel is above the head. Do all that without looking down when you become proficient. Draw the revolver mounted, drop the right hand below the bridle arm, grasping the revolver and returning it so that the barrel is above the rider's head. And you turn it, do it in competition. The holster sitting in the groove of the thigh is out of the way for tent pegging and also for the sword job. This is not a genuine attempt to go for 2 rings and a peg. The lance top is still on, but I left this in because it shows how to pick up the lance, go for 2 rings and a peg, and drop the hand for the peg. And now for the lance. The lance is placed in the block at an angle of 60 to 70 degrees to make it easy to pick up. It should have a mark at the back to show which way you want to pick it up. There's an arrow on the top for mine. The lance should be picked up in one smooth movement and placed under the armpit. Failure to do this and shuffling it to get it into position will result in points being deducted by the main judge for handling of weapons.
This guy is good. This guy is the champion. Yeah.
The first coming, 11.
Kathy?
As they say in all the best programs, and here's one I made earlier, this is to show that even with the best of horses, things can go wrong. If you're in trouble with any weapon, sword, lance or revolver, drop it on the floor, don't throw it away, and the horse will ride away from it, hopefully without damaging either you or it.
Very good. 2.